Alright guys, it was asked to be one of the subscribers that I have been using the Thor 1894 long enough, and you guys know that Eric from South Main Auto really blew up that whole video with that ASTRO 1894. I mean, it was excellent with him, and then he sent it off to that torque test channel, and they tested it, and it had a super high regard with them. And I thought to myself, you know what? All right, Eric, you pulled my leg enough. You've obviously got a lot of good things to say about it as a seasoned vet in this field. The Torque Test channel, they had a lot to say about it, and its excellent rating with them. Why not get one? So what did I do? I went and found one. And where did I find it? On Amazon, because it was the only place at the time after his review that I could actually potentially get my hands on it, because of the excellent review that he did and has talked about and showed on his channel multiple times. It was sold out, and I was not able to put my hands on the channel for almost a year, or right over a year. Finally, even though I had purchased it, it popped up that it was being shipped, and a certain amount of them were available. I've never used a impact as clean and as robust as this Thor 1894. It's the Onyx by ASTRO 1894. They call it Thor. Right here on the back are your so it says running pressure 90 psi, max torque 940 foot-pounds, free speed 7,000 RPM, and I bring this out whenever none of the other guns can do their job, can work properly. And this will do what the other ones don't do. It's got a selector switch here on the bottom. It's very robust. It's not no cheap plastic or anything like that. I love the trigger on this thing. I'm used to it already. A lot of people come to use it and they're like, I don't know, I don't like the fact that I go from here and I can't, it's kind of tough to push it over sometimes. Well, they don't like the thumb side, because your thumb, if you don't have a really long hand and you've got your hand a certain way, it's harder for your thumb. I love it. I don't have a problem with it. Let's look it up real quick. It's a place that you can actually grease it here in the front. You can see I got some synthetic grease that I put in there, and then you use this type of grease gun for it. Let me show you what that is real quick, if somebody hadn't borrowed it yet. A lot of times people come over here and borrow it, they don't put it back, and I don't know where it is. It's a little tube here. I've got some high temp synthetic bearing grease in there, and that's what I use to air the front bearing up in this. And every once in a while I'll put a little air tool oil in there. I'll show you. Here we go. It's an old can I bought years ago, Blaster air tool oil conditioner. And I'll just pull the trigger down, give it a little squirt right in the end of it. Hook up your air. My fitting ain't quite tight enough. Anyway, keep your face and hands away from that. And then oil here. It don't take but just a little bit. It's not super loud. This thing is very nice, and I bring this out whenever the other tools can't do the job. This will do the job. Now, which ones do I have? I have the matte composite with the lights on the front. This is the MPF 990501 with a variable switch on the back. I have one of my favorites, which is a Mini Godzilla Pro. It's the AT1475FZ. This thing is absolutely excellent tight spots from Godzilla. This is my second favorite, next to the 1894. This is the old Aircat rebranded Mac. It's like the Aircat 1200 or 1400. The anvil's much larger in here, so even though it doesn't make as much power as the newer ones, it hits harder and it tends to do the work that some of the newer, more powerful ones won't do. This has been around, I think, since the early 90s. And this one's a more affordable option on top of the out of the name brand stuff. This one is, no, there's a number on it here. It's really hard. Show this video to your Mac guy if you want one of these, or just look at an Aircat 1200. I don't want to take this off because it's hard to get it off and back on. The old Snap-on MG725 half-inch still works, but honestly, after about a year, I could not stand this thing. The anvil actually cracked right here in the front where the housing's got the double hammer. There's a crack in it. Even though it still works, I can get that anvil for $125, but I got so many other half-inch drive impacts that I just don't ever pick it up and use it anymore. This is the MG725. I also have a half-inch drive ASTRO 1834. This thing is nasty. Air discharge out of the bottom right here. Flex head, handle twist, variable speed, doing brake jobs and stuff like that. This thing is absolutely nutty, man. This thing works really, really, really well. It spins at 8,000 RPM. It's pretty nutty for what it is. This thing is awesome. I think Mac has their version that's also rebranded. It's the ASTRO 1834 as well. And then, when shit hits the fan and I need to break some stuff, I get my 3/4 gun out, which is my old school heavy Central Pneumatic from back in the day. 66 984, made in China, but the damn thing back then will break some bolts. And I got a couple smaller ones. I got my what is this? The MG3. MG325 from Snap-on. I've had this thing for freaking years, man. I've probably had this thing for 15 years or so, you know, about 15 years, maybe 14, 15 years, and it works like it's brand new still. And then this thing right here is a DeWalt. I don't know the number on it. It's a okay, what does this here say? MT I don't know, WMT 70775 or something like that. This was in like an Advanced Auto Parts or something that sat right by the counter, and I went up and I was like, dude, that looks pretty nasty. I want to try that thing. And I bought this a few years ago. I want to say I bought this about seven or 8 years ago, and I've been using this thing ever since. This thing is nasty. It wraps out very, 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 very fast. Anyway, so this is by far my favorite impact, the Onyx, ASTRO Onyx 1894. Love this thing. It is a phenomenal product, and it's probably the best half-inch drive impact I've ever used. So I gotta say thank you to Eric from South Main Auto from recommending it, and thank you for all of you guys pushing me to buy it, to do the review. I agree with him. It's just a phenomenal impact, and I'm gonna keep it only for emergency uses because I want it to last a long time. Y'all be blessed. Take care.